Hey everybody, I'm Sophia from No Love, Lois 2.0, and I just want to say, have you ever been in a situation where you have people as your friend, but you don't choose to tell them everything that goes on with you? Is it because you think maybe it's not that they can't keep a secret, it's just that they don't have the ability to understand? I think we all have friends in our lives, the people in our lives that we want to tell them things, we want to get deep with them, but at the same time we know the level and the capacity that they can understand us, so we choose not to go above and beyond with certain things. So I'm a person that, it's not that I lack communication skills, I'm a great communicator, I believe. I just don't like to tell people everything because I feel like if you're not able to understand, or you don't have the ability to um, understand what I'm telling you, what I'm going through, there's no point in me telling you. So, a lot of the times I don't tell people things and they think like, oh, you're so secretive, you keep things to yourself. No, I tell people who I feel are not gonna judge or will have an open mind to understand. Versus also, I just know that some people don't have the ability to have conversations that are always open and honest because people are afraid of honesty. As much as people say they want honesty, but I rather transparency. You have to be transparent in the things that you say to people and the things that you do, because you can be honest, but if I have to ask you, that's a whole nother thing versus you being transparent and telling me. So I don't be transparent sometimes, not because I don't want to be forthcoming. It's just more so I just don't feel like people have the mindset to understand what I'm going through. So I'd rather just not really keep it to myself, but keep it to those who I know that actually will get it. So I just think that people have to understand that nobody is always going to tell you every and anything that they go through. And it's not because it's a personal reason. Sometimes they just feel that you may not understand. You may not get it. You may not be able to acknowledge their feelings in a way that they feel heard. You may be a person that is not able to effectively communicate that you understand. So they don't tell you. Like, I have certain people I don't tell things because I feel like they're young minded. So I feel like there's no point in me telling you my adult business. Like, that's how I feel like when I'm going through adult business, I have to be able to speak with an adult about it. Because if you are not a person, it's not that you have to have the experience that I have, but you have to have the ability to open your mind up and understand what I'm telling you versus just getting in your feelings about not agreeing with what I'm. And it's more so, it's not that I need somebody to agree with what I say or what I do or what I choose to do or how I live my life. I more so need you to be able to understand, listen, hear me, listen, and pay attention. Don't listen just to respond, because that is the biggest issue. A lot of people have their thoughts together as you're speaking instead of actually taking in what you say. And that is so annoying. It's so annoying to have to explain to people when you're going through something, or when you have an adversity in life, and they literally will have a response before you even finish the sentence. It's like, are you actually able to understand what I'm going through? Or are you just going to sit here and put yourself in a position to feel some type of way because you feel like I don't trust you? Sometimes it has nothing to do with trust. Sometimes it has to do with you not having the ability to understand. So I'm not going to put you in a position for you to feel slow or less than because you do not have the mindset to understand. Sometimes I may not have the mindset to understand everything, and I can understand why sometimes people may not want to tell me things versus I do the same thing. You have to do what's comfortable for you. And what that goes back to is, I was having a conversation with a friend about forgiveness, and I said to them, I said, forgiveness is something that is a choice. It's just like happiness. You can choose to be happy, you can choose to forgive. You don't have to. It all comes down, it's up to you. It's up to you to decide how you want your life to be, how you want things to transpire, how you want people to treat you in life, how you want people to act around you, or what your boundaries are. So it's not that we always need to be in a line and in agreement, but we do have to be parallel when it comes to the fact that we're not always going to agree and we may not always understand each other. And that does not take away from how we may feel for each other or how we may love one another or how our friendship or family, however that may go. That just means that we are very transparent and understanding that we cannot communicate in that way and not taking offense to it and getting mad at people because you feel like they're trying to play with you. Sometimes people are not playing with you. Sometimes people really just don't get it. And that's okay. We cannot force people to understand what they just don't have the mindset to do, because sometimes we may not understand what people are going through. We may be a little belligerent or lack the common sense. I feel like it's a two-way street. It's no one way or the other. That's just how I feel. And I feel like the only person that I've been able to be transparent with is my partner in all shapes and forms. And I'm thankful for that. But we have to also understand that if somebody does not get it, you cannot penalize them and try to turn down the knowledge that they may have in other areas. Like, I have friends who are very intelligent, very smart, and they just don't understand me in certain areas. And sometimes I don't agree with certain things they say in areas that they may bring up or things that they may be transparent about. But it's not that I choose not to understand. I think I just try to make a conscious decision to hear them out before I respond. Now, a lot of my friends be like, oh, why are you so quiet? Are you listening? No, I'm listening. I want to understand everything you're saying before I have a response. Before I acknowledge anything that you're saying to me, I want to be able to actually articulate that I actually comprehend what you are telling me versus me just having a response based off a snippet of you not even getting your words out. I feel like too many people are ready to do this instead of just doing this. Sometimes all you need to do to truly understand is say nothing. Listen, and then wait for that pause for your turn. And it's like, I think some people have gotten mad at me because it's like, oh, well, I just found out that you went through this on your podcast. Okay. If you didn't know before that, you just didn't know before that. Don't take it personal. Don't take it as an attack. Don't take it as you're excluded. Just take it as, okay, this is how he chose to release this. This is how he chose to be transparent. It's not personal, because sometimes, actually, a lot of the times, it has nothing to do with you. We take on things that have nothing to do with us and we make it personal. We make it our issue. We make it where we internalize that feeling of neglect or, oh, they don't want to tell me, or they don't trust me, or they don't want me around. Sometimes, no, I don't want you around for the situation because I know you can't handle it. Or I don't want you around for the situation because that's not something I feel that you will understand. And maybe if I do take the chance on seeing if you understand, you still prove me right and you show that you don't, because you lack maturity. You lack the ability to understand by listening instead of just responding. So what happens is people feel like there's a break in the friendship when there's really not a break in the friendship. It's just that you don't get this. And while you may not get this, I have to do this without you because you don't have the ability to understand me. And that's okay. I love you. And I know you love me, and I know that in other areas in life, I can come to you and say, hey, this is what's going on with me. I'm going through a hard time right now. Like when I struggle with depression, I don't just talk to anybody about that. I talk to very few. Just as if when I battled depression just a year and a half ago, not many people knew. Not many people even knew that I was going through something mentally. I kept it to myself, or I spoke to the people I felt could understand. Not exactly had to have the experience, but could understand and be transparent without judgment, without making me feel like something's wrong or, you're wrong for this feeling. Because I've had friends who told me, like, oh, well, you should just let that go. Oh, you should just not even pay that any mind. But sometimes you can't tell a person what to do. You just have to listen. And everybody's not looking for advice when they have a conversation with you. Sometimes they just want you to be the ear. They don't need you to be the voice of reason. They just need you to listen. Sometimes being a great listener is the best thing that you can do for a friend. It will take everything to the next level when you're a great listener. It will literally make a person feel like, wow, they understood. I can come to them. I can communicate how I feel without judgment. I can say how I feel without being interrupted. And vice versa. You got to hope they can give you the same. But if they can't, be understanding of that. You have to know your boundaries with people, even when there's nothing wrong in a relationship. You have to know what people can understand and what they can't. And you have to be okay with that. You cannot get mad about it. You can't get sad about it. You can't sit up here and internalize it. You have to just be like, okay, you know what? Josh understands me here. Elizabeth understands me here. But you know what? Carter doesn't understand me here. But you know what? Carter understands when I'm going to this particular subject with something at work. But Carter doesn't understand like Elizabeth and John does when they have this similar experience, or they understand how it may feel and the stress that it may cause with certain situations. You have to be able to not just be honest, but be transparent. But transparency does not mean that you will always get to know everything that people go through. Make sure y'all follow this page is No Love Lost 2.0. And make sure you check me out on Apple, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. That's No Love Lost 2.0. I'm Zafir, your host. And I just wanted to give y'all some encouragement to be more transparent. Being honest is cool, but you have to be transparent. Transparency is you speaking your truth without someone having to bring in a conversation or a subject. It's you alone being able to speak your truth without judgment or concern of how people feel. You do it with the people you trust. That's transparency. This is No Love Lost 2.0. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification tab. And it's 1,